This is Elaine with Antelope Beads, and in this video I'm going to talk about gluing and sizing leather bracelets. Bracelets really have to be pretty accurately sized. In general, if the bracelet length is about ½ inch longer than the wrist measurement, that's going to be pretty much spot on. So that means that for most clasps, if the leather is cut to the wrist size, then the clasp is just going to add that extra little ½ inch to make it fit properly. So there's a couple of exceptions to that. One is if you're using a bracelet with either a longer distance between the clasp sides, or if we're using a toggle or a hook, something like this, I've added quite a bit of length in here. So I'm going to have to take that into account when I size a bracelet. So the best bet is actually to size the bracelet to the wearer. So I'm going to start this. Now this bracelet has slides on it, and they can be adjusted if I need to trim some leather off to make it fit properly. So what I can do in this case is glue one side of the clasp on, and to glue I'm going to put anywhere between 1 and 3 drops. I think 2 is going to do it for this one, into the clasp. I'm going to just swirl it around so the glue gets up on the sides, and then I'm going to insert the leather into the clasp, and I'm going to let that sit for a minute, see how this bracelet will fit if I don't glue the leather. And actually that's pretty well spot on. I've got it on upside down on purpose, but that looks like that's just got that little extra bit of play in it. It fits really nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the second side. Okay. So again, I'll put about 2 drops of glue in here, swirl it, make sure that I glue it so, and I like to really keep the clasps together when I glue if I can, so I don't make the mistake of gluing the clasp on upside down. We've all done that at least once. Then I'll put my O-rings down here. Now I will point out that Bracelets is thick, and if I cut a 7-inch piece of leather here, when I curve it around, the inside actually sort of wrinkles up. So my inside diameter is going to be a little bit shorter, so keep that in mind when you are sizing a bracelet. Really common scenario is when you're making a bracelet for someone and you don't have them right in front of you. It's for a gift or something like that. So what we're going to do in this case is we will measure the wrist size. Okay. And I have got 6 1/4 inches here. So I want my bracelet to be about 6 3/4 inch. And so what I'll do is lay my bracelet down and see what kind of length I've got here. I've got almost 7 inches here, and my clasp is going to add another ½ an inch. So, you know, if her wrist is 6 1/4 inches, I probably want the leather to be just about that length. So now, in this particular case, I can't just glue one side and then trim leather off the other side. You know, I've spent a lot of time getting these pieces in place and centered, so I'm going to go ahead and do some math and cut leather off of both sides. So if I want my leather to be 6 1/4 inches, and it is now about 7 inches, that means I'm going to take about 3/8 of an inch off of each side. So I'll use either leather cutters or some scissors, and I'm going to cut about 3/8 of an inch off of this side, and same thing on the other side. Okay. I'm just going to double check and make sure that's going to get me to 6 1/4 inches. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, and then I can still just glue one side, and I'll go ahead and do that. Okay. Okay. And so I'll go ahead and put this on one side. There we go. Now, if this was for a gift, and I was pretty sure I had the right measurement because I had the wrist size, I could go ahead and glue the second side, or I can just leave the second side unglued and glue it after the person has a chance to try it on. Even you can even send a bottle of glue in with a gift box if it's out of town. So, but we're going to go ahead and just glue the second side. And okay, we're going to wait for just a minute, and then we're going to try it on our model. Okay, our bracelet is finished and the glue is dried, so let's try it on Julia. And we will just slip that on there. There we go. Okay, clasp fastens nicely, there's no gap, and the bracelet is just about perfectly sized. There's a little bit of space, I can get my finger underneath there, and the focal stays on top. It's not going to slide around her wrist, so that's just about perfect. Now, I will mention that if you have any doubt, err on the side of cutting the leather a little bit too long rather than too short, because you can certainly cut it off, but you cannot add any on once you've cut it. Hopefully this information will help you size your own bracelets. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit us at antelopebeads.com for more videos and lots of design ideas.